There's a common debate in the world of pool that has been going on for probably centuries. And what game is more difficult, 8 ball or 9 ball? And it's really amusing to listen to these conversations or debates, whatever you want to call them, because both sides of the issue have valid points of why they believe what they believe. But the funny thing is, there's never any winner, and there never can be any winner. So the debate will rage for another, 500 centuries. In 9 ball, you break the balls, and the layout of the balls and the table dictates what you need to do. You can either do it or you can't do it. This doesn't make the game any easier. Some guys have the mental capacity to proceed like that, and some guys don't. Some guys have the ability to think both 8 and 9 ball together, and these are the guys that wind up the greatest players. With 8 ball, you break, and you have all these options, and your creativity comes into play. But that too does not make things easier. They make things a bit more complicated, but that doesn't always equate to easier. And issues come up like playing safe in 9 ball. If you're shooting at the one and playing safe, you're just trying to keep your opponent from hitting or making the 1 ball. When the issue of playing safe comes up in 8 ball, you have to keep your opponent from hitting or making 7 balls on the table. So it becomes 7 times harder to play safe in 8 ball than it is to play safe in 9 ball. So you can say that it just comes down to what type of person you are, but there's a bit more to it than that. Most American players start out playing 8 ball, and they'll play 8 ball for years and years and years before even trying 9 ball or any other game. And that's kind of sad. They kind of get stuck in that rut. And they might get good at 8 ball, but they could be even better at 8 ball. Because if they played a little bit of 9 ball, there's things in 9 ball that are going to help you with your 8 ball game. There's situations that come up. And the same can be said about snooker, one pocket, banks, everything. Every game can help your overall game. And if you just want to specialize in 8 ball, every game will help your 8 ball game too. So it really pays to be well rounded and well versed in every game. But what happens is they get so stuck in that rut of 8 ball that they'll try 9 ball and they'll hate it. They'll be like, "Oh, this game's stupid. I make 8 balls, he makes 1, and he wins." which is a common thought for an 8 ball player that's really not thinking it through. Don't miss the 9 or the 8 or the 7. This adds more pressure to you, which can prepare you for issues that put you under pressure in your 8 ball game. So getting used to that pressure will help keep you from dogging the 8 ball. You comprende? And that can go on and on and on. I could probably talk about that one issue for hours. Shane Van Boening is arguably the best rotation player, at least in America, maybe the world, or at least in the top 5 or 6 in the world. And his favorite, he prefers to play 8 ball over 9 ball. So I mean, make what you want out of that. I think Shane just loves a change of pace because he plays 9 ball for most of his profession and everyday life. And it's nice to have some more options, or some more to think about other than just breaking. So much of 9 ball is in the break, and less of 8 ball is in the break. So it comes down to making the right choice, and the player who makes the best choices in an 8 ball game is most often the winner of the game. people in America start off playing 8 ball most of the time, um, because it's just easier to explain to someone and easier for them to understand, and plus it appeals to that militant partisan self that they're raised with. Um, these are my balls and those are your balls. It's cut and dry. You don't even have to know what color the balls are. You can easily see that one is solid and one is striped. So it's more cut and dry and to the point. Where when they switch to 9 ball, they just really don't grasp the concept of all the balls on the table are both ours. That just sounds stupid to them, and it just doesn't appeal to that cutthroat me against you war zone. These are my voters, those are your voters. These are my soldiers, those are your soldiers. It's just they don't get it. But what they're failing to understand is that it's a whole different part of your brain playing 9 ball and then playing 8 ball. It's just two different ways of thinking. So it's pretty easy to conclude that learning both games and both ways of thinking will improve both your 8 ball game and your 9 ball game. And again, that goes for every game. Learning snooker will improve your 8 ball game and 9 ball game. Learning one pocket will improve both games too. Now, I know life is short and you can't be a master of every. Well, some people can, but um, a lot of you guys have to work. You have school to go to. You have things to do other than just play pool 12 hours a day. And I get that. So you feel more pressure to be great at one thing than to be good at a whole bunch of things. I would pick 2 or 3 if that's your situation. But learn the games and play the games and pick up the things that you need to be great at all the games. I'm a rhythm player, so once I determine how I'm going to run a rack of 9 ball, I let my rhythm take over. I'm not really thinking. I already know what I want to do, so there's no sense in standing back and replanning the whole table after every shot. If I achieve my objective on the 1 ball, it's just a matter of going through the motions on the 2 and then the 3, and it's more like an escape from thinking. And that's where my rhythm comes over, and I try to keep the same rhythm on every shot to keep it going, and I just feel like one with the table and the room, and I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, and it just kind of nature takes over. That's how I like to play, and I pull that over to my 8 ball game, which demands more thought and more creativity. But I still, once I creatively figure out how I'm going to run a rack of 8 ball, that rhythm that I'm using in 9 ball takes over. So once I make all the decisions I need to make, it's just a matter of going through the motions and letting that 9 ball rhythm take over my 8 ball game until I get in trouble, until I get out of line. And that's how I play 8 ball. Whether that's right or wrong, that's how I do it, and that's what keeps me interested in playing it. So yeah, one kid has a piece of cake and the other kid has a piece of pie, and they're sitting at the table arguing about whose is better. It's really dumb. They're two different things.